sunflowers.
Everybody
And the
will
girls
have Dayton Utility
feast off of their sunflowers. It makes it nice and light.
All right, this is the public hearing for the 2024 budget. We'll start with roll call. Mark?
Here.
Stan?
Here.
Ron?
Here.
Carla? Present. And I'm here, so we are all present. Okay, are there any comments on the 2024 budget? All right, hearing none, this meeting is adjourned. Did you have some, Mark?
I just wanted to mention that the certified rate for the town looks like it's going to go down again for third year in a row, so I think that's pretty good. Less taxes is better taxes.
Did you have some, Mark? Okay.
Are you there?
Yep.
Okay, Dayton Utility Service Board. Come to order, roll call, Mark.
Here.
Stan. Here. Jen.
Here.
Carla. And I'm here. So Alicia, do you have anything?
No,
Why not?
it's good for you guys, if I don't have
Yeah.
anything.
Adjustments to be approved, Bridget, you'll go to them.
That we don't have any this month. We have an adjustment report, but that was all the wastewater credits. That's pretty good.
Okay, public comment. Nice to see some new faces here that we've never seen in a while, so glad you guys could come. No public, okay, council comments? Okay, I'll close this meeting and turn it over to Jen.
Okay. Thank you. All right, this is the September 19th meeting of the Dayton Town Council. Ron's already taken roll call, and we are all still here. Before we do begin, because we do have people that have either never been to a meeting or have been to just one or haven't been in a while, I just want to lay down some guidelines that everybody should follow. There will be a time for public comment during each agenda item, and then at the end of the meeting, there's time for public comment. So there's no public comment unless you're recognized by the chair, and then you need to state your name and address for the record, and there's a 3-minute limit. All right. Attorney, do you have anything?
No, ma'am.
Why not?
Apparently I haven't been doing anything.
You're not cheap today.
All right, allowance docket for August 2023. I move to approve the allowance docket dated 8/1/2023 to 8/31/2023 in the amount of $22,582.23. Okay, there's been a motion made by myself and seconded by Carla to approve this. Is there any comment? Okay, we'll take a roll call vote. How do you vote, Mark?
Yes.
Stan?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Carla?
Yes.
And I vote yes, that's approved 5-0. The claims docket. I move to approve the September 19th, 2023 claims docket in the amount of $148,754.03. There's been a motion made by myself and seconded by Carla to approve this claims docket. Are there any comments? How do you vote, Mark?
Yes.
Stan?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Carla? Yes. And I vote yes, so that's approved 5-0. All right, we have some reports to approve because the bank rec is done. I move to approve the following July 2023 reports: the appropriation report, the bank reconciliation, the fund report, and the revenue report, and the August 2023 reports: appropriation report, bank reconciliation, fund report, and revenue report. There's been a motion made by myself and seconded by Carla to approve these reports. Are there any questions or comments? How do you vote, Mark?
Yes.
Stan?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Carla? Yes. And I vote yes, so those are approved 5-0. Just 2 minutes for this meeting. I move to approve the following minutes. August 15th, 2023 Utility Board and August 15th, 2023 Town Council. Second. There's been a motion made by myself and seconded by Carla to approve these minutes. Are there any questions or comments? How do you vote, Mark?
Yes.
Stan?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Carla? Yes. And I vote yes, those are approved 5-0. All right, clerk treasurer, do you have anything?
Nope. Nope.
Thank you. All right, Nate. I didn't pull that podium out for you. Do you need a place to put something? One of the wheels making you want, I can't remember if it is, so. You grab that. Thank you.
All right, my name's Nate, I'm the new town manager. Started about maybe 8 or 10 weeks ago. We've had a lot of things going on. We've got, for the year, our hydrants flushed and tested, so that's complete. I'm still waiting on a report back from them. Sampling stations. Does everybody know what the sampling stations are? So there are 4 of them. The state wants us to put them in, and they're going to be scattered out throughout town. So I have some bids to get those installed.
These are to do water samples, right?
Yes, our daily water samples
Okay.
that we do for Lafayette and the state.
Right now, we're taking the town hall, much of the Haggard building, but they need 4 places representing it all.
And we purchased these, well, I know we approved them earlier in the year, or late last year, and then they're here now.
We actually did purchase them, and we have them out in the shop ready to be installed.
Okay.
The first bid I got was from Foley Foundations. It came in at $28,504. The second bid I received was from F&K Construction. F&K Construction came in at $22,150. But the good thing about F&K Construction is in that price they are going to fix our hydrant that we have broke at Hayden and Harrison Circle in the same bid. So that's quite a bit.
The one we got a separate bid for $11,000 for, so that's quite a savings.
That's a
Yeah.
huge difference. So in 22, $150, repair the hydrant, install the 4 sampling stations.
Yes. Do you guys want me to touch on the new system for the meter reading? Or do you want to?
Does somebody want to make a motion to go ahead with F&K for these sampling stations first?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we hire F&K to install the sampling stations and repair the meter. The hydrant, excuse me, repair the hydrant. I second it.
Okay, there's been a motion made by Mark.
I'd like Alicia to look over the contract first before. Well, I mean, we can go ahead and approve it with her, along with her approval. So.
There's been a motion made by Mark and seconded by Stan to engage F&K Construction to install our sampling stations and fix our fire hydrant contingent on Alicia approving the contract. Is there any discussion? Okay, how do you vote, Mark?
Yes.
Stan?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Carla? Yes. And I vote yes, so we'll go ahead with them after we hear from Alicia. All right, go on. What was the next thing? Yes. Go ahead and present that. We just won't be voting on it. Would you present it?
Okay, we've been looking at a system. Currently, when we read meters, we put an apparatus in the truck and we drive around town, and by radio waves, it picks up the meter readings for us, which has worked great. But the only problem with it is it's not real time. So they quoted us a system that we can put in. We put an antenna on top of the building, and it hooks basically to Bridget's computer, and she can read meters every day if she wants to. So if a customer calls in and says, hey, I feel like I'm using a lot of water, she can actually look real time and see exactly what they're doing.
So that would save time for the utility person from, if they're in the middle of doing something else, they could do that, and that would make your job more efficient too, or the utility clerk's job more efficient, right? Yep.
And my understanding is that it sends us an alert doesn't it? Isn't that what Scott said? Scott Dunlap, but since it's an alert, if,
Yes, I believe it does. It'll flag a customer's meter that uses more water than normal. Like if they have a really high day, it'll flag.
Send it to you.
right, and we can call that customer and say, hey,
Ask them, if they
instead
have
of waiting until, when we read meters, we get a leak report every month. And then that will tell us who's on that leak report. By then, it's too late. You've already gone through several days, maybe a month of consumption of a leaky toilet or, a leak somewhere.
So for that system, we got a quote for $27,500. That includes everything except the antenna that goes on top of the building, which I'm going to handle. And by doing that, we're going to save probably in the neighborhood of $13,000 by us putting the antenna up ourselves.
Yeah, because we originally thought this was going to be over $40,000.
Yeah.
Yes. $27,500 for the equipment, and we put up the antenna. So that's good savings.
I don't think there's any negative to it, but I do just want to wait because we sent our list to our grant person, and she didn't have anything ready for this meeting, but she'll have it ready for the October meeting, and she'll be able to tell us what projects she thinks can have grants available for them and what don't.
So if the grant doesn't come through, though, we still have funding that we can use from the American Rescue Act or whatever that's called for doing
Well,
that. Is that
I
right?
mean, this is a utility thing, so we have money in utilities too.
Well-
You can use ARPA funds for utility infrastructure, so you could theoretically use it for that, or you could just use your utility budget that you have if you have money in those line items.
But we need to spend that money by the end of next
You have
year.
We have to plan to spend
You
it.
have to plan to spend it
Okay.
by the end of '24, and then you have to actually spend it by the end of '26. Yep.
So the cost is basically going to be covered, no matter what. Hopefully we get a grant. We can use that money for other things then. So whatever seems to be most efficient.
The next thing
Thank
is,
you for getting all that info, that's good.
Yeah.
oh, no problem.
Bridget helped with that too.
Oh, yeah.
High five, Bridget.
The next thing is the town dump truck needs a little bit of work. The bed doesn't dump. And so it is now at road truck equipment, and they sent me an estimate back. They told me that it needs a new pump for a new hydraulic pump, and it needs a little bit of work on the hinges for the bed because we spread salt with it and it's just got corroded. That came in at $1,976.
What is the amount of it?
$1,976.
But 56 of it is tax, so $1,920? Is that fast?
So what year is that truck?
I believe that's a 2004.
That's the big dump. It's a big truck. Doesn't have many miles. It's not the one we're talking about replacing.
Okay.
But with the community center, we need to use the dump to have a bed that works and everything. Remember, we needed a dump bed before. Now we will, so.
Okay.
And I'm sure that's why that it's probably went out because it was probably never used, was it? The bed doesn't appear to be.
I never really ever.
Seldom used. Okay.
So, we need a motion for that.
Go ahead.
Make a motion to spend the $1,920 for road trucking company that do the pump on our truck and do the hinges, whatever's needed to fix that truck up.
Second. There's been a motion made by Ron and seconded by Carla to have Roe fix up our giant dump truck. Is there any discussion or questions? How do you vote, Mark?
Yes.
Stan?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Carla? Yes. And I vote yes, so let's get it fixed. Anything else?
Last thing on my list is our small pickup truck. Needs a little bit of work, so I was wanting to see if I could get $300 approved to get the exhaust fixed. I'm expecting it to be more towards the $200 range. But the muffler, like, it rusted and split out, so it's really loud.
Taking it right over.
I like it loud, that way I know when you're coming. Just listen. Where's Nate? Oh, yeah, he's on Northwest.
It's on the other side.
I make a motion to appropriate money for getting the muffler fixed on the truck.
I second it.
Okay, there's been a motion made by Mark and seconded by Stan to get the muffler fixed on the truck, so I can't know where Nate is. Is there any questions or discussion? How do you vote, Mark?
Yes.
Stan?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Carla? Yes. All right. And I vote yes, so get your muffler fixed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nate.
Okay, community center.
Tomorrow, we've got a dumpster back there, and tomorrow we're getting the backhoe. And we'll start cleaning up the whole area. There's a lot of concrete decks out back, and junk and everything. And we're taking the garage down, now it'll be removed, and get it all prepared for these experts that come in and help us design the actual buildings and stuff. McAllister is giving us the backhoe free, so that's great. We do have to, we've got several experts say that we need to remove these 4 trees. The 2 there, the one, the big sugar maple is damaged, it's got disease in it. It looks nice now, but it will eventually come down. But, and then there's 2 smaller, an 8-inch one and a 12-inch one in the back. So, we just need to get them out of there and start fresh. Okay, there's 3 bids. There we go. One is from Brian running the tree bears. Now this is to take out all 4 of them, clean it up, and grind the stumps out of the ground. Okay, $4,500. T&T Tree Service is $3,500, and Elevate Tree Care is $2,500. So I suggest
They're all gonna do the same thing. Take the 4 trees out, grind the
exactly,
stumps.
yeah, cut them down, remove all the debris, and grind all the stumps under the ground level. All doing the same.
And the least expensive bid was $2,400.
25, 35, and 40.
These guys are bonded and are
Yeah,
insured.
and in fact, down Shady Lane, they did John Swift's trees, and they did Mike Lewis and Pam Lewis's trees, and they've done a few other, they're good, reputable place, so. Anyway, I think we ought to have to do it.
I'll make a motion, we hire what was it?
Elevate tree.
Elevate trees.
I
To
second it.
remove those trees.
There's been a motion made by Mark and seconded by Stan to have Elevate Tree remove all 4 of those trees at the community center for $2,500. Is there any discussion or questions? How do you vote, Mark?
Yes.
Stan?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Carla? Yes. And I vote yes. Do we know how soon we can do it? Maybe.
Within the next couple of weeks, hopefully, we hope I'll call them.
Thanks.
Uh,
Was that it for the meeting?
Now, the sign out here, we approved $166, and we don't know quite the wording on it, but we put a back-to-back sign on the existing bracket out there for the community center, future side of the community, and just need to okay it, so we'll pass around wording and just come up with something that shouldn't be too hard.
So it's gonna take 2 signs, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's,
These are like 10-year signs, they're temporary signs, while we're working on the future side of the community center, while we're working on everything. And then, once we get everything done, we'll decide if we even want that sign bracket, or if it gets moved, or we want something more permanent.
We just want to let somebody know that we're working towards that, and that's what it's going to be.
Right. And it's part of the agreement when we bought it, have signage up here. Anyway, make the motion.
$166.
$166 from Clem Signs. Clem Signs, who's done work in Dayton over the last 30 years, to put the Milligan sign up there, the Milligan Center.
Does anyone want to second that? Second. There's been a motion made by Ron and seconded by Carla to have Clem Signs get our sign together for the community center. Any discussion or questions? Mark, how do you vote?
Yes.
Stan?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Carla? Yes. And I vote yes. Town hall, this is you two, you want to click on that,
Okay.
the light bulb.
I talked to Graham yesterday, tomorrow they're going to trench in all the lines from the building out to all the lights down to the church, get all the wiring done and everything. And then that will take a day or two. And then on next Monday or Tuesday, they'll actually set the poles, the new poles and everything, and wiring in and stuff. I'm sure they have a lot of, they really wanted to do this in October, but I asked them to do it and get it done early, so get all this together. Got a call today from the overhead doors, the awning people. They're going to come out, it's in, the awnings are in, so they want to come out on Monday at 10 o'clock and hang these awnings. Okay, so that's good. That's really a week or two ahead than what I thought. So we get once the awnings are up, then we'll get the benches out there and get them bolted to the ground and stuff, and then get flower pots and things. I think that's, yeah, so, and then our new banners for the street signs should be in, I think, October the 8th or 9th or something there, so everything's coming in pretty quick.
All right.
Nice look out there.
Thanks. Was that it for town hall?
Yeah.
Okay, Baker Farms Access Road. Alicia, do you want to
Sure.
update what we can?
So, we did find out that the paving company has a bond. And the bond is for maintenance. In order to utilize the bond to repair the road, we would have to prove that the road was damaged by poor construction, essentially. If it was because, the wrong type of vehicles went across the road that weren't rated for that, then that wouldn't be able to be utilized. So that's one avenue that we're working on exploring, is figuring out what caused the damage to the road so that we can figure out who needs to be held responsible. I'm working on getting information about the original specifications. I got those, and then I'm working on getting the technical sampling that they did before that was done. So I'm working on getting the person to contact to acquire that information. So that's been a process. So I'm working on that. There is an engineer that is working on figuring out what happened, and they're going to do sampling to determine if it was poor construction, if the specs were wrong to start with, if it was an engineering problem, or if it was poor construction, or if it was everything was done correctly, but it got damaged because all of these trucks went across it. And then once we kind of get that information, then we will really know who to hold responsible for that. So one thing I talked to Jen about a little bit was, right now we have stopped the permitting for Baker Farms for Malacus. And my thought is that we might want to reconsider that. If we don't do that, at this point, we don't know that was the responsible party. And so to continue to hold them accountable for something that may not be their fault, I think would not be a wise decision. So my recommendation would be that we allow them to obtain permitting again until we have figured out who is responsible, and then we go after whoever that person is, whether that's the engineer from the beginning, whether that's the paving company, whether that's, whoever allowed the trucks to go across that road. From what I was told from the engineer, certain so this is secondhand knowledge, but certain types of roads, even if they're access roads and they're not going to have a lot of traffic on them, should be constructed in such a way that heavy fire trucks and heavy ambulances could go across them. And she wasn't sure, and she doesn't have all the information at this point, but she wasn't sure if that was correctly assessed when they did that. And so that's kind of the first question is, what was it that they were trying to make, and what was it supposed to be utilized for? And then the second question is, did it get constructed appropriately? And so I have sent her, everybody has been really cooperative with me. I've asked for information. Everybody has been giving it to me as quickly as they can. They've been communicating with me. So I really appreciate that for all the parties involved. So, we're just working through it at this point.
So if it's an emergency road and it was constructed as their engineers came up with the criteria for emergency road, which isn't as thick as a regular road.
Right.
So it's okay for that, and they put that in okay, but then we know is the actual big triaxles when they did at Center Pond that ruined it. Will our bond, who pays for that if it's a second?
So it was approved as an access road, but what the engineer told me was that there are different types of access roads, and that certain access roads, like she had, and again, I'm not an engineer, so I'm not repeating this well at all, but there are certain qualifications that she would recommend for an access road, and she wasn't sure if those were even in place. And if they weren't in place, no matter what vehicles were on it, even if it was fire trucks going to a fire, it would have deteriorated pretty rapidly from that. We know there were big trucks on it, but we don't know if the reason that it deteriorated was because it was poorly constructed to start with, if it was designed badly, or if the trucks went across it and that's what damaged it. We're going to have to kind of figure out who let the trucks go across it and who was responsible for that, and that's going to be the person that we need to contact. Unless we can come up with some sort of agreement with everybody involved, and we all just say, you know what, let's work together and let's all chip in and fix it. And that's always an option as well, is to just sit down with everybody and say, okay, engineer, okay, paving company, okay, developer, okay, us, what can we do to fix this? Because at a certain point, you're going to spend a bunch of money in legal actions, and you got to weigh that risk benefit. But at this point, we're still doing kind of an exploratory mission. So that's something we can.
We know what trucks did it. They admitted it. We also have two engineers plus the people that work for the company that put it in that all admitted it was put in wrong. But that's
So
good.
that's what we're hoping. We're hoping that it was put in wrong, because then it's fine.
There's all kinds of factors that could have caused the road to be demolished, to get destroyed. But the question isn't, even though the big trucks were on there, if this engineer comes back and says, well, this road specifications, wouldn't have lasted anyway. That's really what we're kind of hoping for, and then we can talk about what we need to do. But I do know the paving company has reached out to me more than once and said, here's what our recommendation is to fix it. I don't know whether or not they're wanting to pay for that. That wasn't necessarily clear, but they have been communicating with me, and everybody, like I said, has been working with me. So my hope is that we can either figure out what's going on, get the appropriate party to take care of it, or, like I said, worst case scenario, we all sit down and just say, you know what, it is what it is, let's just get it fixed.
Yeah, and then we were told, when Stan and I met down there, we were told that we need gates up on the end. And why didn't we put gates? The person that told us is the person that ordered the trucks on the road, knowing that it was the access road. So you get a lot of things.
Yeah, hindsight is 20/20. So we know now that maybe there should have been gates up. But I don't know what signage we had up, if we had that it was an access road, if we had, no trucks over whatever we on it or whatever. I can't answer those questions. But those are things that, once we figure out what is wrong with it, then we can go and see what was done, what wasn't done, and who is responsible for what.
Okay. But we need a motion to lift the,
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, if
I'll
that's
make
what
the
the council
motion
wants.
to lift the, what do you call it?
Permits.
The permitting
let Malacus go ahead and get his utility permits.
There's been a motion made by Ron and seconded by Carla to restore permits down for Baker Farms. Is there any discussion or questions? How do you vote, Mark?
Yes.
Stan?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Carla? Yes. And I vote yes, so we'll do that.
Do you want me to contact them, or will you contact them?
Do you want to tell them?
We're having a meeting tomorrow with Greg Malacus, Stan and I, Greg Malacus, on phase 2. I think it's 1 o'clock, I forgot. But he'll be out here,
So you'll just let them know?
and we'll let him know. But in phase 2, I always thought phase 2 was the whole rest of that addition. But there's 3 phases. Phase 2 is only half of the back section out there. So they're doing 110 houses, and I think they'll have 55 in the front, so phase 2 must only have about 25 houses, so there will be a phase 3. But
Okay.
he's coming after.
Okay,
So the maintenance bond
yes.
wasn't only for the access road, it was for the roads. Yes? No?
I will have to double check that. I've read it, but I don't recall exactly what it was for, because I just read it quickly.
Okay,
So
so,
I will check.
so I guess my question is that roads that have not been constructed yet,
So the maintenance bond is only for the roads that have been constructed at this point. So it's not for future roads.
okay, so would future roads require a separate maintenance bond?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Which would come when they begin the process of putting in new roads.
So roads are installed, the engineer for the town reviews the road installation and gives a recommendation whether or not we should accept the road. And at that point, when the road is completed and everything and accepted by the town, that is when we get that maintenance bond. So that's part of the end of the project.
Okay, so it's not prior to construction or during construction?
No, that's at the end. They have performance bonds and they have usually payment bonds during construction, but those are separate, different things.
Okay, now, at tomorrow's meeting, they're harvesting the crops out there the next day or 2. And that's why Malacus wants to be Atlas excavating out here, because he no longer uses people talking about to put in a crappy road. He doesn't use it anymore. But DF&S, our engineers, have sent us an email, we need to talk about that they oversee phase 2, and that's $70,000, and then our development guy, Greg Malacus, pays that. And I don't think we don't need to okay that with BF&S, so we can tell Malacus tomorrow, until there's an agreement with Greg Malacus that he is going to pay them.
Did you pay it the first time?
He did, only because this board came in and made him pay
Okay,
it.
so we
He
just need
didn't
to
pay it
clarify.
until then.
So we just need to clarify with him that it's his
Yeah.
responsibility.
But I'm going to tell him tomorrow that he needs that you will draft something up saying that it's his responsibility, not just,
Like something he signed and agreed to,
yeah,
no?
so the next spring he doesn't come along and say, no.
Okay, yeah, I can do that. And that's in our,
Development.
that's in our development code. Okay, yeah, I can draft something, that's fine.
But we should always do that. We should always get the developer
Oh, yeah.
to sign off on it.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I think at the very bottom, line is, then it's not a surprise.
Right.
Yeah.
Just, it's in our code, and, people should be aware of that, but some people don't read it, some people don't know where it is, some people don't understand it if they do read it, and so just laying that out from the get-go, I think is always a good idea.
Like, because like the gas station down there, they still owe us that money for the F&S doing the engineering. We probably, if we made it signed the loan agreement ahead of time, we probably would have gone a lot further.
Yeah.
So how much is that?
1,800 or something like that. It's not a lot, but probably end up paying it, but just, you probably don't have money right now.
You're talking the gas station, I think.
Gas
Yeah.
station.
Because this one's 70,000, correct?
No, that's what I said.
Up to, right?
70.
Up to 70.
Up to, okay, I just want to make sure I have the right number.
And that's just for this phase 2, and there's phase 3. So
Got it. Okay.
All right, was that it for Baker Farms Access Road?
That's all I have.
Server update. So last month, we talked about how our server was no longer going to be supported by Microsoft after the end of the year, whatever. So he was just going to get us updated, but then we thought, and I talked to Mark Jones, that it would make more sense just to update our entire server instead of just doing their updates that are going to expire. So he sent his quote. This is for the server and all the components and the software and his technical services, $6,920, which is a lot, but if we don't do it now, then we're going to be stuck in, like a year or whenever he said that it expires.
Who makes the server?
Um,
Oh, there it is. Got it. Okay. 2 terabytes.
does anybody have a problem with this? Any questions?
Actually,
Is this the route you want to go?
I think it makes more sense.
You have to do it. You gotta keep the computers up. If we don't,
Is there any value to for the old server? Or what would we,
road anchor.
it's not, so what about the old server? Have we reached capacity, or is it that the,
Let me read it to you. The current operating system on your server is nearing the end of its life for support from Microsoft. This is from Microsoft's announcement dated March 5th, 2023. Windows Server 2012 and Windows Server 2012 R2 will end on October 10th, 2023. After this date, these products will no longer receive security updates, non-security updates, bug fixes, technical support, or online technical content updates. So we need to update our operating system, but we can only update our operating system, I think, to the 2019 version. But the 2019 version is going to go obsolete. I think it was January of 2024.
Soon.
Or no, maybe not January of 2024. The end of 2024, maybe. But anyway, then that was going to go obsolete, and we can't. There's a 2022 version, but we can't update to that because our server won't handle it or whatever. I don't know the right words, but you can't update to that.
Like with it just doesn't have enough memory to maintain.
I don't know if it's memory or you know how you get a phone and you can only update to a certain operating system, and then sorry, you have to get a new phone.
Because the operating system is too big for what you have.
Yeah, I agree. So instead of just updating that now and spending the money, because that was $2,524. Wait, no, that was $2,000 just to do that, to get us by
Yeah, but just
until that became obsolete.
just the operating system.
Right, just to get a new operating system. And this is almost $7,000, but this will get us a whole new server.
For a server.
Does that make
so-
sense?
Yes, for a server, that's really not too bad to have an operating system and everything.
It's the security of it that if you don't update, you're not secure anymore.
Right.
This ransomware thing that's going around, different companies have been, it's, they come in and lock your computer and say, pay us money or you don't get nothing.
Yeah, that's what Mark said, there's always new stuff coming out. Is everybody comfortable with this, Mark? What are you thinking?
I'm just weighing, the question is to either spend $2,000 now and then in a year spend $7,000 plus whatever it's going to increase in a year's
Right.
time, right? Or go to the system now, get our license. How long is the license good for?
3 years? 3 years.
The support license is 3-year flexible support.
It's $6,920, but on the bottom, is this just a standard thing? Our labor will be at $100 an hour? Is that on top of something here? Or is that just a note that in general?
I I think that must be in general because he has
They have
his
1,500.
installation on.
hardware and software installation on there.
Probably some people.
And this is just a quote, so I think, you know, maybe he thinks it might take 15 hours, but if it takes 10 hours, then it won't be 15.
So, would it hurt to clarify that, so we know for sure if this is the, or do you want to get,
End date for getting the new system?
October 10th.
Well, we don't have, we can't wait until the next meeting.
I mean, I can clarify it with him.
That shouldn't be more than 1,500. The likelihood is it may not be that
Yeah,
much.
October 10th, 2023.
I mean, that's 15 hours for one server, but
Well, because the way I understand it, you have to like take everything from your server and put it onto something else and wait for that, and then get the new server and then put it all back.
Well, wouldn't we
It's like
so would we be able,
dumbed down
would we be able to
something
do this not to exceed this number then?
You wanna make a motion?
Go ahead.
And I did also ask him to bill us separately for the components and the server and all of that that's like not coming from him. I asked him to bill us separately so we could see the cost on that.
On all these other things,
Mhm.
you're right.
Go ahead.
Well, we're gonna do it sooner or later.
and the likelihood is in a year or two it could be excessively higher,
Yeah.
Probably not lower.
very unlikely.
It stinks because it's like almost $7,000, but it's like unnecessary. So, somebody want to make a motion?
I make a motion, we accept this bid not to exceed $6,920.
Seconded.
Okay, there's been a motion made by Mark and seconded by Stan to accept this quote not to exceed $6,920. Is there any discussion or questions? Can you state your name and address for the record and then speak into
My
the
name is
microphone?
Mary Copus, 757 Ohio Street. Have we had any other quotes on that?
This is our IT guy.
So we
Like
don't have
this,
any?
this is who we always use. He knows our system. He put in our old one,
Okay,
knew how old it was and all that.
Right, and I'm with you, because it changes so fast that in 2 years from now, we might need to spend that amount of money. So is there any way we can look
Well-
at anything different, or we only stay with that guy because he's our guy, or?
He was saying in 2 years, so the options are if we keep our server we have now, we have to pay right now $2,000 to upgrade our operating system.
But
But
not
that-
7.
Right, but that operating system will only get us until the end of 2024. I thought it was the beginning of 2024, but it can't be because that's very soon. So it must be the end of 2024. And then our operating system, we can't get the next version, so the support will expire. So at that time, we will have to get a new server. So he's saying, just get the new, I think we're all saying, just get the new server now, instead of paying $2,000 now for an operating system, and then waiting until it becomes obsolete and spending $7,000 then, because then we've spent $9,000
Or more.
right or more.
Can you, like, get a contract, like, into, we'll put this in now for this amount, and then in 2024, when it expires, we can put it in for another, half price of that or
So
something
that's,
like that?
it's not up to him, it's Microsoft. Like, he's not making anything expire, it's Microsoft's.
Right, he's not making it expire, but he's charging, so is there any, kind of, instead of doing 1 year lease, you do a 2 year lease, or can you make some kind of, arrangement with him that we put it in now, and then in 2024, we promise to have you put it in again and give you an extra 5 instead of 7 or 9?
I don't think I understand.
We're just putting it in now.
So I,
Why do it
Yeah,
twice?
do it,
I
okay.
think what she's getting at is there a way to speak with him about getting a price for a future upgrade in 2 years when we need it, and getting the quote that we've got locked in, or like a specific price at that point, but today.
Yeah.
The only issue with that is if the board approves it, a future board could change their mind, and so we can't necessarily lock in that future board into that contract if we haven't appropriated the funds at that point.
But if it's a contract, isn't the contract like the new board has to follow that?
Unfortunately, unless the funds are appropriated, the new board does not have to follow that. And anytime you're appropriating funds, a past board can't bind a future board for an appropriation of funds. So unless we would pay for it today, a future board
Right.
could change it.
Right, okay, and so you're paying for it, what, next month?
Well, I mean, for the future contract, what you're saying is if we lock in the price today, unless we pay it today.
Right. But I mean, wouldn't it be better if you locked it all in today and for the next 3 years?
I'm not sure that he would be able to tell us in 1 year, and 2 year, and 3 years, this is how much your server would cost, this is how much your first component, your second
Well,
component,
it's
your
definitely gonna
memory.
be more in 3 years from now, so if you could lock it,
But like how, we aren't buying these from him, like, he's buying them and putting them in for us, so I don't know, he would say, sure, you can pay $7,000 in 2 years, because then if it's doubled in price in 2 years, then he would be out. You know what I mean?
yeah, I do.
Back in, a long time ago, when I was a clerk, I don't know when it was, 2003, he was our IT guy. And LaDon and stuff before me used him. And so there's been 5 boards that have used this guy. And over all those last 20 years, we've gone out and got some extra quotes here and there and double checked. And he's always the guy that's, he doesn't have on a lot. Like when we
Just
buy,
enough.
when we buy copiers, he doesn't make anything on a copier. He makes the labor to hook it up. Maybe $150 or $50. But he's always been extremely reasonable. Sometimes the only thing I've ever thought is he maybe pushes a new computer a little sooner than what I would buy one.
Right.
But I wouldn't buy one for
And that's what I'm
40 years
asking
at a
about this system, is it
But
just
no,
a little
he's-
too soon? Can we wait another year?
Well, I can guarantee you though, he is not going to, he doesn't know what the future brings, and he's just not, it's so uneven and flexible and everything that he's, you know.
We
He
could
can't
wait,
predict
but we
it.
still would have to upgrade the operating system now, which costs $2,000. Like, that's not an option, because that's,
And
I-
then when that operating system expired, it would be another $7,000.
Well, it's still gonna be another 7,000.
No, it's gonna be 7,000 now, and not that 2,000 that we had to pay.
right, it's 7,000 now instead of 2,000 and have 7 or more in the future.
And
Okay,
in
I thought-
a year, it could be 8,000 or 9,000.
Right.
To replace it instead of the 7.
Right.
So this 7,000 would just be now, not also.
Carrot.
So then in 2024, you won't have to pay that?
Right, because
Okay,
this,
that's
this
what- yeah.
server will
Okay.
be like newer and able to like handle the,
This is
More
good,
for
this will be
operating
good
system.
for at least 3 years, right?
yes.
Unless
Unless Microsoft does something.
Right.
Microsoft does something, but,
And
at
usually they
least 3.
support.
Yeah,
They
usually they'll
support
support it
long
farther
ago.
than that.
Yeah.
Well, right, because we're on 2012 now.
So it's been over 10 years.
Yeah. So any updates, we would still get those and.
Right.
I don't know, I don't think anybody wants to spend the money,
No,
but there comes a point where,
You have to
They-
make
they-
a
they
computer
kinda-
system.
you know, it's kind of gotcha. And I think we are fortunate to have Mark, because he has
Well-
been very responsive when we need him, and
He is, and I will say this, he does his due diligence, maybe once a week, once every other week, where he PCs in and checks and makes sure that there's no bugs, everything's running smoothly, and he doesn't charge us for that.
Nice.
So,
He does a lot of extras.
yeah.
Well, I hope I get to meet them.
Good with it?
He's a good guy.
I make the motion.
Comfortable with
That's it.
it? Any other discussion, questions? Okay, how do you vote, Mark?
Yes.
Stan?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Carla?
Yes.
And I vote yes. So we'll get that. All right. The chicken allowance from area plan, we discussed this a little bit last month about the wording, and then we were gonna wait to see if there was any additional wording or anything anybody wanted to change. Does anybody have anything? Let me read it so we remember. This was the draft wording from APC. This doesn't like, if we vote on this, it doesn't make it like legal, it doesn't change area plan, nothing. This is just to get the ball rolling so the area plan knows kind of what we need. It says, in the town of Dayton, within the R1U and R1 zoning districts, up to 6 chickens or rabbits may be kept on a lot as permitted accessory use. Roosters are prohibited. All animals must be kept in a secure coop or cage, which must be cleaned regularly. Coops and cages must provide minimum 10-foot setbacks from all property lines and may not be placed between any structure and the road right-of-way. Livestock not specifically mentioned in this section are prohibited, as is outdoor butchering of livestock. So it's super simple, which is what they recommended, like this is what's allowed and this is what's not allowed.
And if we okay this, what's the next step then?
I would tell David, that working looks
We're
good.
just getting on board with AP for that.
Because it has to go through them, because it's a zoning thing. So they would handle it, and then they would do the enforcement. But as of right now, there's nothing that says it's allowed.
Well, we need to do something with chickens. There's no chickens in this town.
That doesn't exclude the horses down the hill, right? You're not gonna like.
Those aren't in town.
We
Those are
have a
county.
separate,
That's county.
Okay,
we have a separate area that
Okay.
allows for horses in this town.
okay.
Does anybody have anything, or are we all comfortable? I don't think I need a motion, but are we all comfortable with moving forward? Because it'll have to go through your plan and then have to come back to us to actually,
Approve it.
yes. Okay. Holiday banners for new light poles. Did you already say this? That we need banners ordered?
No,
We have our fall ones,
we
but.
have our fall ones that we go, be up there until all the Christmas banners come up and down. But we need, was originally going to use the Christmas banners on these poles, but these poles, the new ones are 2 inches longer because of the way the size of the pole and everything. So we need a Christmas banner, but I think we need a sort of generic winter one that we can, we take the Christmas banners down around January the 10th or 15th or so. We can leave these 4 poles, they're going to be hard to put up and down on there. We can leave them on until we do the spring banners. So, and it would look great anyway to have right through the middle of town, a little bit different. Not a Christmas banner, but a winter type banner that would pull off in the spring. So, and the plans is later on, we'll have a spring banner, and then Stan's gonna buy some military banners for Veterans Day and those types of things. So we'll have like 4 or 5 sets of 5 banners each to put on our poles, like changing 5 times a year or something.
This was my bid.
Where did we get that one at?
The same company, display
Display
sign,
sales.
display sales. Obviously, welcome to Dayton.
What is that?
It's a bench and a tree and snow. What?
Looks so.
Because the fall one has the gazebo and the winter one.
Yeah, the new fall
I
one.
didn't see that in the.
Yeah, I didn't see it either. I like it. I think it's neat. It could be a little clear.
Well,
And maybe.
listen, guy, I just printed this.
Now, we like this idea. I'll call the guy up and they'll run us a few, there are places to do a few copies.
So this font, though, is the same font from the fall banners, which I don't necessarily love for the winter ones.
Is that the only option?
Something with like, for the font? No, for sure not. But I was thinking like something with like softer edges or something.
I think Nate needs to get the snow off this bench.
Is he still here? Yep.
How about I
Can I
take
say
it
that again?
and have them make a few variations of
Mock-ups?
mock-ups of it, and then we can all look at it.
Was there public comment? Would you state your name and address for the record and either speak loudly or use the microphone, please?
Tyrone Taylor, 734 Walnut Street. Another board to discuss it, and maybe this board would want to do it, but putting the outlets on the power line so you can hang up all the Christmas ornaments that you have in the barn lights, like kind of how Mulberry is when you like drive through there. It's really nice because they have like their banners or stars. And
Oh, it looks great up there.
and if you're putting those posts, those new light posts in, and you're gonna do all that stuff to decorate, it'd be nice just to have them for every.
I already had the outlets, they're on there, they're pre-wired, nobody, so we can hang anything up. And then
Nice.
later, over in the community center, we do a few more, as we put those lights up, street lights, we'll do that.
Yeah, I think that there was a quote, I thought it was like, it wasn't too much per post. I mean, if you look back and then I think it was like around $100 a post to put those electric outlets. It just depends how far you want to do it, but, or how many.
You're saying they're already there though?
On the new posts.
On the new posts?
But on all, he's talking about on all, we talked about years ago, we got a lot of decorations in the police department down there that I've got from Brownsburg down there, they gave them to us. And I went down there and hauled them up here and everything, but Tyrone and I always sort of thought about hanging those Christmas trees and stuff on each of the things, and they light up.
Yeah.
You know, and I like them because they're the old lights and not this new kind of light. It's a soft lights.
But the problem is getting 110 volts up on all those poles, they don't have it.
So that's what he's saying, that like Mulberry had
Yeah.
a company come in and put a
Yeah.
relay up there in a box.
You'd have to put a transformer in.
Yeah.
We can check that, you know. I always thought it'd be neat to have the, and it's a wonderful life, have the festoons across
I'll go
the
across.
town, you know, but it is a state highway, you probably have to
Yeah.
get special permission, or just put it up in the hell.
Let's not that. Alicia's like, no, I'm
But
gonna.
that'd be pretty cool.
That's not gonna
No
happen.
sense of adventure.
I have lots of adventure.
So I'll get some mock-ups here.
By the state especially.
I do like that, though. I didn't see it on the
I
site
didn't
or in
think
the
of
book,
it.
so.
Good thick.
If we want them, we can just buy Bridget a sewing machine, she can.
Thank you,
They
Bridget.
got me with the sewing machine.
That's so nice of you to
That was
offer.
called fabric glue.
Fine, if you're still gonna come.
Okay.
We got about a half a dozen.
All right. Thank you for doing that, Ron. All right, public comment. Is there any public comment?
I have questions.
Yes. You have 3 minutes.
No, I'll try to be fast.
Okay.
That's where you want the community center to be?
That is where the community center is. It's already been purchased.
Okay, and so the town purchased that?
Yes.
Okay, I just think it's kind of dangerous. It's right around the road.
Well, there's another building behind it. This building you're seeing is going to be, we envisioned like little retail shops. And then you know that there's a building behind it? Not the garage, but like there's another building behind
Popcorn
that.
store?
No.
Look
Um,
at the garage.
Yeah,
So if you're on Dayton Road,
yeah.
behind, right beside this, there's the garage. It looks
Yeah.
like a garage.
Yeah.
Well, that is an entire building that goes all the way down. It's
Right.
not you know, it looks like a garage, it's not. There's a building that goes all the way down.
Right, all the way back to here.
Those buildings are like 35 foot by 85 foot long, and then at this end, there's a garage that connects them, which is coming.
You can't see it from here.
Yeah.
So is that going to accommodate like basketball goals and volleyball courts? And, I mean, what is the community center? What is that to look like to you guys? I mean,
Well,
seriously, community
Yeah.
center to me is basketball, baseball, you know, soccer,
Well,
kickball, mentors, the church needs involved. I mean,
if you
so
go,
what does it look like to you? Because that doesn't look like that's going to accommodate all that.
it's like the one up at Rockville.
I have not been to Rockville. I'm talking about this one.
Let me finish talking, please. If you go up to Rockville, they got a brand new one. Visit several places. They're not basketball courts or something. They're long buildings. You can have people, residents can have reunions, weddings. You can have movie nights in them. You can have kids come there for a special, like when we had Isers gave honeybee demonstrations, when our police gave demonstrations with the dogs and everything. You can have specialty people come in. And
So I was under the understanding it was for kids. This is for,
Always say the
It
whole
is.
community.
this is for every, you know, me to have a birthday party.
It's for it's for kids.
Well, I
Part of
mean-
it is for kids.
Yeah.
Well, the kids
Oh,
aren't going to come up here and have a birthday party. I have to reserve that. So I thought it was going to be more like a place for the kids to go, like when it's
Like a
hot
park or
outside,
something?
or like a YMCA or a, you know. I thought it was for the children, not the.
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
But there may be, hopefully there will be, possibly, after-school things we might sponsor, you know, maybe, I don't know,
there's been a lot of things that have been discussed.
Back-
It's just
I don't
that's
wanna say
what we were talking
backpack
about earlier.
programs, but-
We're waiting for the engineers per se, to give us a general idea of what everything can be utilized for.
There's still a lot to clean out, and we have to get that cleaned
So-
out before those people can come in and help us envision what we can and can't do,
Right.
what's feasible, what's possible, what we want, what we think, what the town residents are, feedback, to even make that determination. So
Yeah.
we all have had different ideas, but
Well, definitely
But you
get
gotta clean
fenced
it
off
out.
in the front. This is a very busy part of Dayton.
Well, so
Yeah.
one of the thoughts
And you're
was,
cutting out these trees that they don't look sick to me, but.
one of the things we thought about was possibly getting 3 different retail businesses to go in the front here. And behind it, then there'll be the parking for the retail businesses behind there. And then there's the community center itself behind that. That's that long garage that's back there.
Yeah,
And then I think this other building here is behind this building is going to come up for sale, and possibly
The popcorn place?
The popcorn place.
Okay.
So if that came up for sale, then that would give additional parking, possibly another use for that building. So nobody has really ever wanted to really. We haven't seen anybody want to make an investment in this town. So the town's going to make an investment in itself.
I think the great place for the kids is that empty car wash lot that we do nothing with. It has all that grass, it has all that room, I mean, we
Car
could,
wash.
or right down there by the BP. There's a ton of space there to do something really good for the community. That's been sitting there for years, so I don't know, that's just my thought.
We brought up about parks up there.
Yeah, something.
That we were shot down all the time because it's so close to the interstate, people would come in and steal the kids and all that.
And lots of security.
We could steal, that's another avenue, but that thing is.
You could do a dog park, you could do anything up there to
There's
bring
a
revenue to the
lot of
town.
things that could happen.
There's a
up
lot
there.
of things you could do up
Right,
there.
we're starting, this came available, and it's right across the street from the town hall, it's ideal. A lot of towns put a community center like Rockville, way out on the edge of town, and the only by the old school out there, and they really want it right in town, close and everything. So this was a great opportunity to get that, and it's gonna take 2-3 years to do this whole process. But I've heard a lot of stuff on Facebook and things about the people and the danger up here.
Mhm.
We have a liquor store that people are walking there to buy booze, and they come out, some of them drinking it when they come out and drive along the state highway. We have a town hall that has hosted all kind of places, 80 people up here. We have the old town days up here, that hundreds of people were here. They were all milling along here, antique shops and everything. We have Trish's down there that has people all over the place, right on the corner. Every place is the same distance or closer than that building over there, but yet, seems like a certain group of people knock us for getting that building because it might be dangerous, and it's
Well,
no
this is
more
for
dangerous
kids.
than any
And
The
place.
three
the liquor store.
This isn't for kids. Your time is up. Is there any other public comment?
Yes, I have another,
Your time is up,
I
unfortunately.
can't go on another subject.
No, I'm sorry, it was 3 minutes.
Wow.
Okay, wait a second, I'd like to ask her what the other subject.
Could we,
The other subject is the burnt down house over there. How long do we have to let
Tyrone,
that?
did you have something?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
On this community center, is it gonna be open like, maybe you have a rent, but will it be like open like through the week too for like kids to go? There will be somebody staffing it, or will it be like only like a rent?
what did,
That's what we talked about, like, it would be awesome if there was something like before and after school care, like homework help or this or that. But it's all in the beginning stages, so
But I
I can't
just didn't know
say.
if it was gonna be like open or if it was like reserved only or just you
No.
can't take like
Right.
how it was
I
gonna
think,
be.
I think,
that's your call.
so the real secret was to be able to get the property to start with. I mean, you gotta think, we bought that property for less than what you might buy a new house here in town for, right? And there's a lot of property there. It's right in the middle of our town. It's right across the street from town hall. Yes, it's got potential. We don't know what that's gonna be yet. Hopefully we'll get a lot of community involvement, and we'll all figure this out together and do something that everybody's gonna be happy with. That's what we're really hoping for. So we don't know everything about it yet but we do know that if we didn't have it and somebody else bought it and they put a bunch of dumpy rentals in there, for instance, you know, it's kind of like a blight on the town. So we got an opportunity here, and hopefully we'll all figure out how to work together on this and figure out how to make this something that's going to be good for everybody. And I especially think about the kids, you know, because they're the future. They're the future of our town, right? So I think we'll figure this out.
Was there any other public comment? All right, council comment. Mark, do you have anything?
No.
Stan, Carla, Ron, I know you got something.
Yep.
May I go first, Ron?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry,
I
my
will take
for
your
treasurer time was number 7.
I know. I do want to say after bank rec, I don't remember who asked, but anyway, January 2020, our balance was $1,953,312.43. After bank rec in August, the end of August, it was $3,428,000. So we're in good shape.
So
An
it's
increase of 1.4.
475.
Yes.
After
And there is no loan
after
on
buying
that
that
community
community
center.
center and spending $300,000 there, after buying the street lights for quite a few thousands out here, we're still up almost $1.5 million.
And our tax rate's going to go down.
And our
Yes.
tax rate's going to go down.
And the money was taken out of edit, which doesn't affect taxpayers, so that was, and it had been accumulating in that edit fund for many years.
Our city tax rate is 126% less than Lafayette's. So if you take if you're concerned about your taxes, we're really in a pretty good spot, especially people who have very expensive properties. They would be paying a lot more property taxes. So there's a lot of good things that that's been happening here. We've got a good assessed value. That has helped tremendously.
So I have that number here with me. Our assessed value, and this, I just got this information last week from the county. So our net assessed value is $66,265,260. And then these numbers also, so within Tippecanoe County, we have Clarks Hill, and their tax rate is 2.31. Dayton is 1.87. Otterburn is 2.51. Lafayette is 2.57. Shadeland is 1.66. And West Lafayette is 2.77. So the only other town in Tippecanoe County that has a lower rate than us is Shadeland.
Oh, shoot.
So we're in good shape.
We'll get them next year.
Yeah, probably not.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Ron.
Well, the first thing was I was going to say exactly what Bridget said. How much extra money to pay. The second thing is, because it's going to be a political deal here, is that burnout house. And I just want to say nicely here that burnout house is being cleaned out and removed of all the asbestos and everything from the inside out right now. It has been. And in probably another week, the whole top 2 floors will come off, and by another 4 weeks, the whole thing will be down. And that'll be done in less than 2.5 years. I know it's been a long time, but the condemned house on South Street has been there 9 years.
Why don't we do something about that too?
It's not time for public
Let me
comment.
finish talking. The house, the car wash up there has been sitting down there for several years with open water pits, and we have all these places we complained about. And we complained, and they've written letters and everything, and we're trying to help the situation along. We've asked them to make fines and everything. There's a house across from the school up there that's been sitting now a couple of years abandoned and derelict. Actually, the house next to Redbird, when they were building it, took 2 years, 9.5 months to rip a condemned house that was an eyesore to this town coming in with all kinds of wood, debris, nails, everything around it, because I helped them clean it up and the stuff around that restaurant. There's an abandoned brick house up here that's unoccupied with dogs living in it for 5 or 6 years, where they ate all the floors up, ate all the walls up, ate the doors and everything. So, and then there's a house up where Carter lives that I used to mow it, take care of the back, because it sat there only 12 years, overgrown and abandoned. And not one person has ever, there was the one thing they did say was the boathouse. You guys know where the boathouse is, across from the school, that we're restoring, that red schoolhouse. Now, my twin brother owns that, he bought it. There was 200, 300 people that filed a thing that they didn't like it. So we bought it, we cleaned it up, we're making it a historic spot where there's going to be a log cabin in the back, and it's going to be an outdoor living center for the children to walk across the street in this town. This place over here, when that house comes down, the gazebo is coming in, it's all going to be landscaped between the house and that block building. And you'll notice the 2 acres on the backside along the railroad tracks will have a reproduction 1880s depot from Dayton, and it'll have a dog walking park and for kids with parents with children and strollers and dogs. In that corner building will probably be some kind of a cat and dog shop selling supplies for animals in this town, because this town seems to like a tremendous amount of people like the animals, and we're real good on Facebook, everybody finding everybody's animals. So we're trying to do something decent with these areas. Our goal is, and my brother's goal, even though it takes him an ungodly long time, and I can't force him to do something like you guys can't force these other people to do something. But you look at my land, you look at when we're done with my brother's, and it's going to be something really nice. So I hope everybody bears and gives him the same amount of time as they give these other places. I think it's only fair, and I think it's, so we don't use it as some political thing, because the end result, probably he'll donate that to the town of Dayton. So, you know, I think we got to bear with it, just go through the steps. I argue with him every day on that thing. We're twins, we argue. And I can't force him to do this stuff. I can go over and help, I can do a lot of things, but I just can't, I can't make these other people twist their arm either. So, I wish everybody would get off that. It's going to be cleaned up, and it's going to be probably one of the nicest places in Dayton when it's done.
Speak or not?
No, it's not time for public
Oh,
comment.
thanks.
It's council comments. Do you have anything else, Ron?
No, but I'm glad you're concerned about it, okay?
Well, I'm not
Do
concerned,
not-
I don't even know that's yours.
If you keep speaking out of turn,
Everybody knows.
you're going to be asked to leave.
I'm not
Please
ever-
stop. No, she's not going to speak out of turn. We're not turning our meetings into this.
I've
Yeah,
asked.
you cannot keep speaking out of turn. Ron, do you have anything else?
No, I just want to thank you guys and
Maybe
people
my turn
for
next?
coming. Lena, I'm sorry.
Do you need to be escorted out?
Okay.
Please.
Anyway, I want to thank everybody for coming. New faces tonight. It's nice seeing you.
You can't run a meeting like that. You can't just stress.
That's all I got.
All right, I only had 2 things. Nate,
Yes.
did we confirm next Wednesday at 1 o'clock for the, 2 o'clock? Okay.
You want me to speak on that for a second?
You can, and I'll put it on the website and send out an alert, but yeah, go ahead.
So once a year, the state and also Lafayette requires us to verify that our backflow out at the meter house is working correctly. And what that does is, if we would have a problem here, that piece of equipment makes it to where the water doesn't flow backwards to Lafayette. So I had that scheduled for today, and I was unaware that we have to turn the water off to the whole city to do that. So Wednesday, this coming Wednesday at 2 o'clock, we're going to turn the water off. Hopefully, it's only going to be for 15 minutes. And the plumber that came out thinks that most people are not even going to know we have such a, we have a lot of 12-inch main and a lot of big water pipes. So he seems to think that nobody's going to notice. So, but if, just in case.
Yeah. So everybody's not like, wait, why don't I have water?
Next Wednesday.
What? Is this a question about what you just asked?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, certainly is. said Wednesday, are we talking tomorrow, Wednesday?
No,
or-
next week,
Thank you.
yeah. And I'll put that on the website, and I'll put it on our Facebook page, and I'll send out a notification through our notification system. And hopefully, like you said, nobody even notices, because we have so much water in our lines. All right. The yoke. When our CCMG stuff, is that starting tomorrow? Monday?
Oh, yeah. We had a pre-roadway construction meeting on the new 5 streets that in this town that they're gonna, all the work for our CCMG grant money is coming up. And they're gonna start tomorrow moving in machinery and down, I think they're gonna bring it on Yost Drive first, north and south gets all redone, and south gets curbs on the south side where the trucks are and everything. And then all those cement pylons and everything get lifted up, they're actually McAllister's, owns them, they might move some tonight. So we'll find out, let the town, we'll post it, what streets they're going to next, but they're going to, I think, do the Yost, and then they'll come along and grind up all the streets, and there's only a couple little sections of existing sidewalks that get replaced up in Deerfield along with the streets. So in the next 3 weeks, all this should be done. And it's probably about $450,000.
Concrete work will be done first. You won't see them doing any street work till they get done with the
Right.
concrete work.
So that's gonna look nice up there. The state actually was supposed to take care of Dayton Road, Yost, north and south, back to the railroad tracks and north, but they turned that over to us, that they don't wanna take care of it, so it's our responsibility. So luckily, we got this grant money that pays 75%, so
All right. Was that it on that?
that's it.
Thank you. Having no other business before us, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.